Most seniors believe that regular checkups are the key to staying safe. But what if I told you that some of the most common medical tests after age 70 could actually harm you more than they help? We're talking about hidden risks that doctors rarely mention, tests that can push you toward unnecessary surgery, trigger complications, or even raise your risk of cancer. In fact, new research shows that one of these routine checkups is responsible for as many cancer cases as drinking alcohol every day. That's the shocking truth we're uncovering today. This isn't guesswork. It's backed by hard science and real patient stories. And once you know what's on this list, you'll see medical testing after 70 in a completely different light. So stay with me, because in this video we'll expose the 5 health checkups you should avoid after 70, and you won't believe what made it to number 2. 5. Bone density scan, DEXA. It sounds harmless, a quick, painless scan that tells you how strong your bones are. No needles, no stress, just reassurance. But after the age of 70, bone density scans, officially called DEXA scans, often create more fear than benefit. Here's why. Almost everyone over 70 will show lower bone density on these scans. That's not disease, it's normal aging. Just like wrinkles or gray hair, bones naturally lose density with time. Yet many seniors are immediately labeled as at risk and pushed onto medications like bisphosphonates. These drugs are supposed to strengthen bones, but they come with terrifying side effects. Things like chronic acid reflux, brittle bones that fracture in strange ways, and even jaw necrosis, a rare condition where parts of the jawbone literally begin to die. And the kicker? The actual benefit is tiny. A major study found that for people over 70, bisphosphonates reduced fracture risk by only 0.3% over 5 years. That's nearly nothing, while the risks and side effects can be life-changing. Take Rose, a 76-year-old retired piano teacher. She'd never broken a bone, walked daily, and lived independently. After a routine scan showed mild bone loss, her doctor immediately put her on a bisphosphonate. Within 3 months, she developed severe reflux and jaw pain, so bad she stopped playing piano, the joy of her life. When she finally stopped the medication and switched to a plan of vitamin D, resistance exercises, and a calcium-rich diet, her pain faded and her strength came back. A year later, she was performing again, without fractures, without fear, and without the toxic side effects. A scan that was supposed to protect her almost stole her quality of life. But bone scans are only the beginning, because the next test doesn't just create anxiety, it can push seniors down a path toward invasive brain procedures they never needed. 4. Brain MRI for memory loss. When memory slips start, misplacing keys, forgetting names, the first thought for many seniors is fear. Fear of dementia, fear of Alzheimer's, and doctors often respond with an MRI, thinking it will provide answers. But here's the unsettling truth. In people over 70, brain MRIs rarely tell you anything useful, and they can actually make things worse. MRIs are powerful scans that show every little detail of the brain, but past 70, nearly everyone has some age-related changes, tiny white spots, slight shrinkage that are completely normal. The problem? Once doctors see those changes, they're often treated as red flags. What follows can be a chain reaction of fear, invasive follow-up tests, even surgery, all without improving memory one bit. A 2021 study reviewed over 3,000 seniors who had mild memory complaints. 86% of them showed abnormalities on MRI, but only 3% were linked to conditions that could actually be treated. That means the vast majority went through unnecessary worry and sometimes painful procedures for nothing. Take George, a 74-year-old retired engineer. He came in worried because he occasionally forgot names or misplaced his keys. His MRI showed white matter changes, which are normal at his age, but he panicked, convinced he had dementia. He stopped driving, withdrew from friends, and his anxiety only made his memory worse. When we tested him with a simple paper-based cognitive screen, his memory was perfectly normal. Once he focused on sleep, hydration, and brain exercises, his confidence and memory returned. The lesson: unless there are serious symptoms like seizures, sudden personality change, or rapid decline, a brain MRI is usually unnecessary. A simple cognitive test can give answers without triggering a cascade of fear. And if you think brain scans are risky, wait until you see the next test, one that can push seniors straight into heart surgery they didn't need in the first place. 3. Cardiac stress test. It's one of the most common tests given to seniors who feel a little more tired than usual, or who mention chest tightness now and then. The cardiac stress test. On paper, it sounds smart. You walk on a treadmill while your heart is monitored, or you're given medication that mimics exercise, all to see if your arteries are blocked. But after 70, this test often does more harm than good. Here's why. The accuracy drops sharply with age. In seniors, the false positive rate, when the test says there's a problem but there isn't, can be as high as 40%. And every false alarm sends people into a dangerous cascade. Angiograms, stents, even bypass surgeries they never needed. A 2017 study published in JAMA Cardiology found that more than half of the stents placed after stress test referrals were unnecessary. They didn't improve survival, didn't improve quality of life, but they did increase the risk of bleeding, kidney damage from contrast dye, and prolonged hospital stays. Just ask Raymond, a 75-year-old retired postman. He walked every day, stayed active, but sometimes felt tired on hills. His doctor ordered a stress test just to be safe. The results were unclear, so he was sent for a catheterization. They found a mild narrowing and placed a stent. That night, he had a reaction to the dye, developed kidney problems, and spent 6 days in the hospital. And the kicker? His fatigue never improved, because the issue wasn't his heart at all. He just needed better hydration and rest. The reality is simple. Unless you're having classic cardiac symptoms, chest pain during activity, shortness of breath with light exertion, or sudden drops in energy, a stress test may do more harm than good. Safer options exist, like a resting EKG or a coronary calcium scan, both far less likely to push you into unnecessary procedures. And if you think that sounds risky, wait until you see the next test on this list. It's one of the most common cancer screenings in America. But after 70, it may do more damage than the disease itself. 2. Colonoscopy. Most people think of colonoscopies as the ultimate cancer prevention tool. For decades, doctors have pushed them as essential for everyone over 50. But here's the truth. Once you're past 70, colonoscopies can quickly go from helpful to harmful. And after 75, unless you have specific symptoms, most experts say they're almost never worth the risk. Why? Because the complications climb steeply with age. The prep alone, harsh laxatives, can trigger dehydration, dizziness, or kidney problems in older adults. The sedation used during the procedure carries its own dangers, sometimes affecting memory and brain function for weeks. And the test itself can cause bleeding, heart rhythm changes, or even bowel perforations that require emergency surgery. A massive 2019 study of more than 1.3 million Medicare patients found that for every 1,000 colonoscopies in people over 75, only 2 lives were saved, but over 20 suffered serious complications. That's a 10-to-1 risk-to-benefit ratio. Just ask Dana, a 73-year-old grandmother who ran a bakery with her daughter. She had no bleeding, no symptoms, no family history of colon cancer, but her new doctor urged her to get a routine colonoscopy. During the procedure, they removed a tiny polyp. That night, Dana doubled over in pain. Her colon had been perforated. She spent 9 days in the hospital, lost weight, and never regained her old energy. Looking back, she didn't need the test at all. The U.S. Preventive Services Task Force now recommends stopping routine colon cancer screening at age 75 for most people. Safer alternatives exist, like the FIT test, a simple stool test you can do at home. No prep, no sedation, no risk of surgery, and it still detects most concerning cases. And if colonoscopies sound risky, brace yourself. The number 1 checkup on this list is sold as the ultimate preventive scan, but instead, it may actually cause cancer. 1. Full body CT scans. They're sold as the ultimate preventive checkup. Private clinics call them executive health packages. The idea sounds comforting. Scan the entire body, catch cancer early, and get peace of mind. But the truth is far more dangerous. A single full-body CT scan exposes you to radiation equal to 500 chest X-rays. And research now suggests that repeated CT scans may actually cause up to 5% of all cancers in the US. That's the same risk as drinking alcohol every single day. Here's the problem. Scans often find harmless nodules or spots that are simply part of aging, but once they're discovered, panic sets in. More scans follow, then biopsies, then surgeries, and all too often, they cause more harm than good. Take Marcus, an 80-year-old martial arts instructor. He felt perfectly healthy when he signed up for a full-body scan at a private clinic. The scan found a tiny nodule in his lung. That led to more imaging, then a biopsy. The nodule turned out to be benign, but the biopsy collapsed part of his lung. Marcus spent 2 months in recovery, all for something that never needed treatment in the first place. Experts are clear. Unless you have symptoms like unexplained weight loss, coughing up blood, or visible swelling, full-body CT scans should never be used for routine screening. The risks far outweigh the rewards. So, there you have it. 5 checkups that may do more harm than good once you're past 70. Bone density scans that spark unnecessary prescriptions. Brain MRIs that create fear instead of answers. Stress tests that lead to heart procedures you didn't need. Colonoscopies that can injure more seniors than they save, and full-body CT scans that may actually cause cancer instead of preventing it. The lesson is simple. More testing isn't always better. Sometimes less is safer. Real prevention comes from lifestyle. Eating well, staying active, getting good sleep, and asking the right questions before agreeing to a test. The next time your doctor recommends a checkup, pause and ask, what happens if this test finds something? If the answer is unclear, or if the risks outweigh the benefit, it might be time to say no. And now, I want to hear from you. Have you or a loved one ever faced complications from a medical test that turned out unnecessary? Share your story in the comments below. You never know who you might help.